The issue of vaccine hesitancy has reared its ugly head in recent months as people across the country grapple with whether or not they should get the shot for COVID-19. Today, we're joined by Pat Matheson of St. Stephen Baptist Church and Greg Irby, Associate Director of Operations for UnitedHealthcare, to talk more about the reason behind the hesitancy and what they want people to know. So, Pat, if we could, let's start with you. What is your perspective on the COVID-19 vaccine?
Well, my perspective is that if we have any chance at getting a handle on this pandemic, that we have to take measures, serious measures, in fighting it. As with any war or any type of pandemic in the past, there have been aggressive actions that have been taken. And now that we have a weapon of sorts, a tool that we can use to combat it, I think it's I think it's important that we take it very seriously.
Right. And Greg, when it comes to the dissemination of information, how are you providing information to encourage vaccines?
Absolutely. On uhc.com/COVID, we're going to have lots of information about vaccines and wellness. And if you are a UnitedHealthcare member, if you have a UnitedHealthcare plan, you'll have a $0 cost share for the vaccine, meaning you won't have a copayment, coinsurance, or deductible, no matter where you get vaccinated. And for UHC Medicaid and Medicare members or in dual complete plans, transportation and scheduling programs to support members are also available just to remove any barriers to vaccination.
And Ms. Pat, you know, one of the things I know to be true when it comes to this COVID vaccine is there has been a long time hesitancy on some level, predominantly in the African American community, when it comes to getting vaccines. Has this been something that has come up in conversations that you may have had with people?
Most definitely, and understandably so. There are some, in the older generation, the baby boomers and beyond, who felt that in the past they have been used as pigs to test certain things, and the trust has just been lost, and it's never been reestablished. So there is, it's the hesitancy. The hesitancy is all about a lack of trust, and so I understand that, but trying to help them understand the importance of it now has been a great challenge. We have been able to make some leeway, but there's still a lot for us to get to, because there are still people that are holding out. And while I talk about the older generation, we've noticed a really big trend in the younger generation, the millennials. They've sat back and they've watched grandma and grandpa go through things, and they hear their stories, and so some of them have adopted it as their own. And now they are just thinking, there hasn't been enough research, there hasn't been enough study, no trials, and so they're hesitant with getting it. Well, they're not hesitant, they're just blatantly saying we're not doing it. So we've seen both.
I appreciate the perspective there. So important to point that out. Greg, when it comes back to you, talk about, if you could just briefly talk about the importance of getting the COVID vaccine.
At UnitedHealthcare, we believe that COVID-19 vaccines are an important step in slowing the spread of the disease, and they're key to protecting people's health. All FDA authorized and approved COVID-19 vaccines, they're safe and effective at preventing serious illness from COVID-19, including hospitalization and death, according to the CDC. And vaccines, they're key to slowing the pandemic. We love partnering with trusted organizations and trusted community resources like Ms. Pat to educate the community on how the vaccines work and where people can get vaccinated.
Greg, Pat, I certainly appreciate both of you for joining us and all for your perspective and your expertise here. Again, thank you so very much. We'll mention visit uhc.com/COVID for vaccine and wellness information.